Record. Cool. So this is stuff that I'm sure you all probably know, but I just wanted to do an IT support run through just of all the different levels, how we've got it set up, etc., etc. There have been some changes to our structure recently, so this is also to clarify how I'd like things to work moving forward and make sure we're all on the same page. Don't want to work on based on assumptions. You know what they say about assumptions? Or if you don't, it's that they make an ass out of you and me. So we've got a few flows that I'm going to put in Confluence. This is the very high level process. These flows don't take into consideration things like the individual assignment or auto health check or any of that sort of stuff. It's just, pardon me, the purpose is just to outline the day-to-day. So for a normal ticket, it'll come in, log to service desk for triage, CAN level. I'm getting an echo from someone. Is that you guys? Do you still?
Not us,
No?
no.
No? Oh, maybe I can hear Shell. I don't know.
You can, sorry.
Aha.
You shouldn't be able to. It should be on my headphones.
CAN level 0 resolve? If they can, cool, tickets resolved. If not, assign to level 1. Can level 1 resolve? No. Assign to level 2. Can level 2 resolve? Outsource. And then it just goes around into a loop until we got the ticket resolved. So who's in which role? Mitch and Wilson are obviously primary for the service desk role, with Shell as secondary. And what I mean by that is that, and I should redo level 1 actually, is that Shell's primary focus is level 1 tech support, and your guys' primary focus is service desk. Then at level 1, we've got all of you guys doing it. And then level 2 is specialist support, which is myself. And that's also outsourcing to AV Tech when it's, that extra specialist sort of thing. Does that all make sense?
Yep.
All right, now we start getting to the fun stuff. Okay, this is the service desk resolution process. So what this relates to, can I alt tab out of this presentation too? So level 0 will predominantly be this queue here. So I've created one here, level 0 service desk. So service desk is all about ticket triage, by which I mean, looking at the information in the ticket, etc., and quick fixes or workaround. The predominant goal is, like at the end of each day, that this list should be empty. At the end of each day, they should be all the information's got in there and they're put onto level 1, so that once you guys are through this list, you can jump onto level 1 and start doing that sort of stuff. The order should start at the oldest and work your way through. We will have priorities on here soon. I'm just tweaking the stuff, which I'll get to later on. There is also, I haven't finished it yet. On Confluence, I've got the starting off procedures for this as well. So if you're ever stuck, you can see how to get the bits and pieces. But for a high level, this is what we're running through today. So at the start of triage, you just edit the properties. So I've got the ticket type. Let's open one of these guys. Ticket type up here. Is it an incident or a service request? And I'll run through the difference between those two later on. Urgency, department, category. So the urgency is how urgent the ticket needs to be resolved. And that can change depending on what the person logging the ticket says. I mean, they all want their tickets resolved straight away, right? But it could be a high urgency if someone is unable to do their job effectively without it, or if it's like the printing service out on the floor where it's affecting patrons, which is the purpose of the library. The department is just, the locations. The category, so that's just picking the appropriate category for the ticket. So this one's email, so it's software, subcategory of Microsoft Office, because they're using Excel and Word. Impact. So impact is pretty clear. Is it just the one person? Is it everyone at the branch, or is it organizational wide? Now, this impact will work with this urgency to determine the priority. So if this one really was, so let's have a look. I try to send a bulk email, need to provide everyone in the organization with temp password. I've marked it as medium urgency and need this information out today or tomorrow. So that's a medium or high urgency for her, but it's not an organizational wide impact. It's only impacting her. But I would probably put that up to high because she logged it, well, an hour ago. So we've only really got tomorrow to fix it. And then the tags down the bottom here. Emily has come up with a whole bunch of tags. And I'm going to work through this list with you guys to come up with what we're going to tag stuff as. The purpose for the tags is we can have lists here. So we can have a look at, where are they? Oh, where have they gone? There used to be ones in here so you could see like Meraki tickets and printer tickets and all that sort of stuff. Oh, there you go, Meraki unresolved. So this is all with the tag. Oh, that doesn't have a tag. Anyway, you get the point. The last part of that process is to put in the tags. So we've got to make sure that we've got the right tags in there based on how we want to search the data. So once you've entered all that and saved the ticket, I added this extra step. Is the ticket assigned? If it is assigned, so this one is assigned to Mitch. So if it's assigned to Mitch, you get the status from the assignee, which is Mitch. Add a reply for the customer to say, hey, look, I checked in with Mitch. He says he's going to blah, 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 blah. Then you assign it to the right group for that assignee. So level 1 for Mitch in this case. And then you go on to the next ticket over here. If the ticket isn't assigned, which should be most of them, except for any that have gone through that reassignment because it's been over a week, you review the description. And by review description, I mean check this here to make sure that there is enough information in there that whoever is going to work on this ticket can actually do some work. You know, not my printer's not working or something like that. Is there enough information in there? No, there isn't. Request further information. Set this ticket status to pending, which pauses the the SLA timer on it. Then when the customer responds, it'll auto set the ticket status back to open and we can restart the process. So do we have enough info? And then, so yes, we've got enough information now. Can you resolve it? If you can resolve it at that time, and to be clear, it's can you resolve it with a quick fix or a workaround? Not, oh yeah, I reckon I can resolve that if I, Anything that's going to take longer than about 15 minutes, half an hour, needs to be in the L1 queue. If you can, say it's something simple and we've got a quick fix and you know what it is and you know just how to fix it, you add the resolution for the customer, add some private information for the team, so public note, private note, and then you resolve the ticket. Oh, sorry, that's the resolution field, not a public note. That's a private note. Resolve the ticket and then go on to the next one. If you can't resolve it, have you already worked more than 30 minutes on it? If yes, add a note for a customer and assign it to L1. If no, what is it that you need to resolve this ticket? If it's skill set or access, so this morning you didn't have the access to move those public PCs to the right OU, then that's something that we need to help with. So if that was the whole ticket, you'd add a note and assign it to level 1, and then Shell would pick that one up. If it's just knowledge that you require, you can discuss it with the team. So it might be, someone's logged a ticket regarding something with workflows. Is that a quick, like, do we have a thing? And then, Sheila or I might go, oh yeah, here's a link to the knowledge base. Use this. There you go. That'll get fixed. Can you resolve? And then it just goes around and around again. I've tried to color code these as well. So the processes are blue, questions are pinky. This greeny bluey color is chatting with the team, and the orange is chatting with the customer. Did anyone have any questions about that?
Last time I tried it, but we can't assign L1 to ourselves. Is that still the case? Have you tried doing that?
I thought we could.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm not sure. It's been
I reckon Mitch can, but Wilson, I might not have added you to L1, so I will add you to L1.
Okay.
I will scribble that down there in the tick. So yeah. All right, next one is level 1 ticket resolution. So this is all 3 of you will be doing this, and this is pretty much anything that isn't a quick fix, or more than categorization and a quick fix. As with Service Desk, we start by reviewing the description. If there's not enough info, we request further information. There's one extra step, so this part's exactly the same as the other, but there's one extra step in here, which is inform level 0 about what was missing. So what that is that means that the ticket's in there, we still don't have enough info. We've got the right info from the customer, but then we let Mitch and Wilson know, this is what we needed to know on that ticket in order to resolve it. Just so it's not a slap on the wrist or anything, it's just so next time there's something like that, right, they need that info. There's a problem with this, right, we need the patron ID number and we need the time and date or something like that. Same thing, sets the auto ticket to all that sort of stuff. Can you resolve? Yes is exactly the same. Resolve the ticket. What do you need? Skill set or access is the same. Add a note for a customer. Assign it to level 2. Go on to the next ticket. If what do you need? If it's knowledge, then check the knowledge base. And the knowledge base I want us to be using, as you're all aware, is this one in Confluence. Did you find the answer? If you did, go through and resolve it. If not, update the missing knowledge base list. So I've put a link to this list in Teams as well. So you can just add dot points saying that, you found one, but it was out of date in Fresh Service. Cool, add it there. And that's just our to-do list. So later on, when we're going through, we know, right, these are the new ones that we need that we've never had before. Say anything with Intune. These are ones that existed in the other system, but we need to move them across, etc., etc. It's just a way so we don't forget about it. Research online, check with the team, test any workarounds and solutions, update the customer, and then it all starts again. I'll put some notes down here which I haven't been reading. Next, research, checking with team, researching online, manuals. That one also includes checking for solutions in the Service Desk software. So what we've got, I'm not sure if you would have seen this. Let's just go public PC. So when you search for something, there'll be tickets and problems up the top here. But down here, there are solutions. So this is where the documentation has been sitting up until about 2 months ago. So this is the sort of thing where you might go in there and go, right, that is exactly what I needed. That's exactly how I fixed it. Cool. Let's add that one in here. So there's quite a lot of knowledge in here. This one's from 2021, so 3 years old. So it probably is still relevant. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, depending on the age, who wrote it, etc., etc. Sorry for jumping around a bit there. Did that all make sense?
Yep.
Cool. This one's super easy. Level 2 is exactly the same as level 1, except we've got this contact external support, and we set the tickets pending external, which means we're waiting on an external supplier. And sometimes you might actually do that as part of your level 1 and service desk as well. Like if you know, it's out of ink, we have to log a call with Kyocera or Konica Minolta. You don't need to escalate it up to level 3 to ring those sort of guys. This is this contact external support is no one in-house has the skills to resolve and troubleshoot this issue. All right, ticket resolution. So this is about that list I showed you before, actually, the level 1, level 0, level 0, level 1, level 2. The list of jobs is meant to be things that we're actively working on. So if something isn't going to happen until later in the year, for example, it gets added to a project or task list and that ticket is resolved. So I do that quite often, for example, when people ask for application modifications, etc. We need to get a quote and we need to find budget. That's coming out of my budget. I don't have budget until next year. Cool, it's added to a list and the ticket is closed. Sorry, we can't do it this year. Do you guys know what the difference is between an incident and a service request? This isn't a trick question to catch you out or anything, by the way.
I believe a service request is like if they're after like a physical item.
Sort of. So a service request is when they're asking for something. Could be a bit of software, it could be a bit of hardware, it could be a change to something. And an incident is where something has gone wrong. So in the system, you'll see that that's what this part over here was about, incident or service request. So if it's a request for a service, then it's that sort of thing. This one, for example, show me how to use my phone with 2 SIMs. So that's something where she can't do her job. It's not something's broken, but it's, yeah. So that's an incident. Something's happened, she's got a new phone, and she can't do parts of her job as a result. So it's an incident. Patron can't print from a public PC. It's an incident. We'd like new pot plants in the office. That's a service request and probably not for IT, unless they're digital singing plants, of course. The fish on the wall. So what about an incident versus a problem? This is an ITIL phrase. In fact, I might just share. Let's see if I can do this. Click there, present with screen share, connect to app. All right. So say here we've got an incident, right? Incident 1. And they can't print, okay? And you restart the printer and it seems to work. Cool, close the ticket. Then another person comes through, and another, and another. Okay, now we know that there's something more going on than just restarting printers for an anomaly that's going to fix it is going to happen. What we do is we create a problem. And you guys don't have to do this. You can just let us know that you need it done. And that's down here, problems. And a problem is a group of incidents that are all linked. So all these things we link to the problem. And the reason for that, you can still put in workarounds on all these tickets. So you can resolve them, say workarounds been put in place to get you working, and we're working on a big da-da-da-da-da. Say we find that there's some, it had a dynamic IP address instead of static, and it was causing it to lose its IP address. When we reset the printer, it got the correct address. That's why restarting the printer worked. Cool, let's change it to static. Right, that's our fix. When we resolve this problem, it automatically goes down and closes all these tickets with the same resolution. So it's a way of grouping a whole bunch of incidents under one problem so that when we resolve it, we're doing one resolution and closing off all the underlying supporting tickets. We can also look at a problem and go, okay, I'm working on that right now. There are currently 17 tickets related to this problem. That is definitely well worth getting onto, etc., etc. Get rid of that. Where's my little? Here we are. The last two are something we do, but I'm still in the process of writing the documentation, and that's change management and project management. The one that'll concern you guys the most is going to be change management. An example is Shell has created a spin-off GPO, I suppose, that applies policies to public PCs. Shell's tested this GPO, done all this sort of stuff on a public PC sitting here, and it means that the accessibility settings, etc., are now going to be available for the public PCs. Shell's done that in the test environment. In order to make it go live, we need to make a change to the environment that's going to affect every PC in the company. Every public PC in the company, sorry. Therefore, we need to manage that change to the environment. It's not just a small thing that'll affect one PC, it's something that is going to affect a lot. And we need to communicate that with the library staff. We need to make sure that we've done testing. So in the change, we'll have a few people that approve it. We've done testing. Here is the process that we're going to do it. Here's when it's going to be done between this time and this time. And here's who's going to do it. So this will be me on Sunday night, for instance, and we'll allow like a half-hour change window. And here are the steps that we can take to make sure that it's not negatively impacting on Monday morning. And if it is, here is the rollback procedure and here's how long it's going to take. That sounds like a lot of overhead, and it is, but that doesn't have to be a massive document. It can just be dot points. But the whole point of it is to reassure the company that we are managing changes of this nature in a controlled and professional way, rather than just willy-nilly applying changes like we're Paytech or FE Technologies and then waiting for crap to hit the fan. The last one is project management. You guys won't have to worry about this too much. When projects come up, if you guys want to be on projects, you'll always be given the option, but you won't, with the banding, you won't be running projects. This is about essentially the same thing as change management, but doing it for an entire project. Right, we're getting some library lockers. All right, we're getting an outreach van. What are all the steps? Who needs to be involved? Who's looking at it overall? What are the milestones? What are the points where, it's going to be pushed later if this doesn't happen? All that sort of stuff, and reporting and management. I will show you guys these things once I've finished the procedures. They're just in draft mode at the moment, but I did want to bring them up here because they are part of ticket resolution. If you're working on a ticket, say Shell was working on that ticket where someone just wanted accessibility stuff on a PC. Shell's found a way to implement that to every PC. Cool. We can do that under change management. Shell can't find a way to do that. We're going to have to cut every PC over to Intune. All right, that's now a project. It's going to change the environment, but it's a lot bigger than just a small change to the environment. It's a project that needs project management, needs a whole bunch of extra stuff. So that's how tickets relate to those two things. The importance of communication. So the why is easy. If people are informed about their ticket, it lowers their potential anxiety relating to what's happening with it. It also means that if they escalate, then the next person can see what has been discussed and respond in an appropriate manner. I'll get a call saying, this ticket's been logged and no one's done anything. And I can jump in the ticket and go, well, no, I've left a voicemail. I've sent you an email here. They've sent you an email here. So what happened, et cetera, rather than going, well, hang on, yeah. Wilson hasn't responded in a month and said he would. Wilson, what's going on? Just as important as providing some communication and regular communication is providing useful communication, though. So not things like still working on it and things like that, which brings us to the how. My general rule of communication is that if I want a fast answer, I'll call someone. If I'm not as fast, I'll Teams them. And, if they don't see it and get back to me right away, that's fine. And If I just want them to respond when they see it, I'll send an email. And I know that our service desk software does a lot of this stuff via emails. It does have a Teams integration, but it's not great because it doesn't log the stuff that you've done. It's not a golden rule, but it does seem to be the case more often than not. So we can apply that same thing to tickets. Phone if you want an answer now, then Teams, then email. Regardless of the method you use, though, always put a note in the ticket. I rang and there was no answer. I was going to ask for XYZ and then follow up with an email, or spoke to Frank on the phone, ran through some options. We're still going to investigate solution X, which we think will take about a week. Stuff like that. Be precise in your communication. So don't say things like change it in settings. Tell them how to get to settings. If you say click file and open and browse for X, add a couple of screenshots with circles on them to help. You'll generally get a feel out of the people you're talking to for how capable they are of using a computer without specific instruction. But even the most competent person is going to have a bad day, stressed, tired, something like that, that those extra couple of steps can make a difference. With stuff where you're scheduling, rather than say, I'll look at that when I'm next on site, have a look at the roster, speak to teammates, make a plan for a site visit, whatever, and then give them a specific date. You can always just put in a date and say, look, I'm there next Thursday, which I guess only relates to Shell at the moment, because Shell and I are the only one on a roster. You guys are Cranbourne. But for example, you knew you were at Bunjil today. So you could say, oh, look, I'm going to be at Bunjil next Thursday. If someone's there beforehand, then blah, 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 blah. That's especially important for you guys, Mitch and Wilson, as you're only in 2 days a week. So if you say, yeah, look, I'll get back to you, and then it's left for X amount of time. The other one was spell check and reread your comms. Mightn't sound important, but unfortunately, poorly worded comms or something rushed with typos can make customers feel as though they're an afterthought or that you're not taking them seriously or the problem seriously. If you're worried about how to word something, I recommend using, there's a thing called Grammarly. I'm sure you've all seen the ads everywhere. It's a little plug-in for your browser. It's just free and offers advice on the formatting of messages. You can type in any sentence and it'll fix up punctuation, grammar, all that sort of stuff, and go, this might sound better if you write it like this. It's exactly the same thing that you wrote, but it seems to do a pretty good job. Know your audience, the perceptions of those around them. For example, if I resolve a ticket for Mitch with, no worries, knackers, all sorted. That might be, it might be all right for Mitch, but if he's particularly stressed and doesn't feel it's been resolved, it could be irritating for him, which is probably my intention to irritate him. But, if you guys go around irritating people on purpose, you'll probably end up having another meeting with Janine and myself. Also, don't forget that Emily checks tickets as well. And I'll be checking tickets too. And without context, it may seem inappropriately familiar, because we all get along at various levels of comfort with various people in the business. Just remember that other people may see what's written, so try to keep it professional. So yeah, I just had a note here that don't forget the customers who have asked us to look at a problem for them are relying on us to be professional and provide them with a fix. Doesn't mean we don't have to be friendly, but we do need to provide them with a positive face and a reasoned approach to resolving the tickets. We don't want humour and casual discussion to get in the way of them having confidence that they can rely on us to resolve things for them. When? I forgot when. The when is whenever you do work on a ticket. Even if it's something small, let them know you've done something. It can be a public note if you don't feel it's worthy of a specific message, but even looked into XYZ would suffice. If you've spent more than 5 minutes on it, put a note in there. Just something to let them know. Like you guys have had tickets logged with other people, I'm sure. in your life, if you don't hear anything, like the seat and labels this morning, Shell, and you have to chase it, it's not as positive an experience as if you're getting even little updates and you go, "Oh, they're still working on it, cool." And that same thing applies when chatting with each other as well. We're much more casual in our chats with each other, and I don't want to change that at all. But we should still provide each other with the same level of explanation rather than assumption, or just make sure people are on the same page. Did you guys have any questions about communication or anything else you guys want to bring up?
Sorry.
Once Mitch has plugged in his charger.
I just wanted my moment in the spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah, communication isn't good if your laptop goes dead right in the middle of a meeting.
Just thought about that. I was like, that was
I thought you actually froze there. I thought you'd both frozen simultaneously on purpose to make me think that the communication had gone dead. It had actually frozen.
Yeah. Well, no worries, knackers. That's all good.
They call you knackers from now
Better
on.
than Tony.
No worries, big wheels. Assigning tickets directly. Okay, so the purpose of directly assigning a ticket to yourself or another person is to say, "I'm working on this, stay away." Not in those words, but pretty much. When you are working on something, and particularly, this is less of a case for Shell or I, who are 5 days, obviously. But with you guys, if you assign a ticket to yourself, we might not see it in the queue, and we're not actively going to go and check stuff. A good example is Shell's working on the check-in, check-out app at the moment. Say I had even remotely the skill to work on that with Shell. If there was a ticket open for a change, Shell would want to assign that to themselves because they're in the middle of working on it, and the last thing they need is me jumping in the middle of something and then mucking things up. So that's what the purpose of assigning it to yourself is. You're saying, "I'm working on this, everyone. I've got it for now. Don't worry about it." When to assign it to someone else? It's the same sort of thing. If someone says to you, "Hey, look, yeah, assign that direct to me. I know where it is." There might be a case of something that I'm like, you checked with Shell. Shell doesn't know how to do it. I'm like, "Oh, I know how to do that. Assign that to me and I'll run it through it with Shell." And then blah, 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 blah. There are responsibilities with direct assignment. And the primary responsibility is that you have taken on ownership of that ticket while it's assigned to you. So no comms, no updates, no work, etc., etc. You're going to be the person that, well, Emily and myself, primarily myself, will be asking questions of if work isn't being performed. So make sure when you assign tickets to yourself, you're not just going through and giving yourself 40 tickets, because that's not tenable. Try and have small amount of tickets assigned direct to yourself when you need the time to just work on them exclusively. You might start working on something in the morning and you've left a voicemail for person X to give you a call back. So you leave it assigned to yourself for the day because you're expecting a call back on your phone rather than, in the ticket. Documentation, and we're nearly done. This is the second last slide. All right, everything should be documented and peer reviewed. The purpose of that is to allow us to share any knowledge we get, and by knowledge I don't mean even big chunks of knowledge. I mean little things like, "Oh shit, that's a good way of doing that thing. That cuts out a minute here, a minute there." We're all going to grow by what each of us learns from each other. And whilst I don't want anyone to work autonomously, the ability to have good documentation means that we can work autonomously, which is one of the things I was talking with you guys about when you started, and I really want to stick to, which is that list of missing documentation. Because, for example, Wilson, you haven't worked in this team before. I mean, you've been here a few weeks now, but you'll have a good view of I needed to know this information, and I asked and I got it, but it'd be good if that was documented here. It'd be good if that was there. Here's, you know, you could put in that documentation list. Dave, I think you need to do an overview document just so new people starting can go, all right, this is where I go for that, that's where I go for that. Cool. I'll just keep that as a quick guide, you know, something like that. Any documentation needs to be clear, thus the peer review, because what I write might make sense to me, but then if Mitch reads it, Mitch might go, well, that's great. You've said that. I don't know what you mean by that. So if we're linking to a website, we make it a link to a website. Does everyone know how to use the templates in Confluence? Yep. I know you do, Wilson. I've seen your document. Shell, are you? Yep. There's a big wall of monitors between Shell and myself, and I haven't got your pictures on screen, so I just got a little Terminator thumbs up over the top of the monitor there.
That's a while ago.
So clear, thus a peer review. Again, you can use Grammarly there as well if you're worried about the wording of something. Just, you know, make sure that it doesn't. I've tried it once before on a document and it went and changed things to sound better, but I'm like, oh, but that's not what the menus reflect anymore. Concise, it's a tricky one. You want it to be short and to the point with enough information to get the. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Just lost my headset. So the just ran out of battery. Concise, yes. So it needs to be clear, concise. That means short. It doesn't mean so brief that you don't know what it is you're supposed to be doing, but it doesn't need to be long-winded. We'll all learn this as we do stuff, but for example, if I say connect to FTP using these details, and I give you a port, a server name, a username, and a password, is it fair of me to assume that everyone knows how to connect to FTP, to an FTP site? That's a question. See, in my head, I assume everyone knows how to connect to an FTP. So what I should do there, if I was doing that in a document, that's exactly what I write in the document. But connect to an FTP section, that sentence, right? Words are going well. I'm glad we're nearly done. That sentence should be a link to another document that says, here's how you connect to an FTP session. You enter the username password here. You know, I use a program called FileZilla, right? Cool. Chuck in a little video procedure about, right? Download it from here, configure that. There we go. And then you've got that point of reference. You've still got a nice, concise document saying this, but I've also got the additional information if you need it. Now, once you've connected to an FTP site a couple of times, you won't need that documentation anymore. But doesn't mean we want to clog up. If you start writing documents with everything explained in full, every document is going to be really, really long. And one of the benefits of Confluence, which I've kind of jumped over a step, one of the benefits of Confluence is it's written like a wiki, which means we can link to other pages within it, and we can trim down that data so that, you know, I know how to connect to FTP, I don't need that, cool. There's the information that I need to resolve this problem. And that also leads into the assumption-free, within reason. So is it fair for me to assume that everyone knows how to do an FTP connection? No, it's not. Therefore, this is how I approach that. Why Confluence? Well, as I said before, it's because it's structured like a wiki, but it also enables us some additional features. So we can set it's currently set for every 2 years. It's going to require a review. I'm going to open up a different document because this one is a draft and looks terrible. Right. It also gives us in the, where is it? Document activity. I hope this one has document activity. We can see all the different, all the changes that have been made, when they're made. It's got versioning built in. We can even click on that and go back and view the changes between this document and the last one. So if we go, shit, it was working last week. Has anyone changed anything? Mitch changed something. Yep, here. He's added that part in, but he accidentally deleted that password. Sorry to pick on you, Mitch. You haven't done that. That's not a little sly dig there. But we've got that. We've got the, you've got the basics, but you've also got all the templates. You've got the links to other documents. There you go. Log into your RingCentral account. So if that was me, what I would do, in the interest of keeping it concise, right, that's the URL. No, it's up here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so that's all you need. Stuff like that. When writing documents, where's one I've done? Let's go to. When writing notes, you've got the ability to add in a whole bunch of extra stuff. Tables, links to other documents, links to other data. This one here gives a whole bunch of stuff. Code snippet is great. If you're putting in a batch of code, it'll give you a little window where you can put in code that has a copy text button up in the top right when people are viewing it. You can see down here, I've put in notes. You can put in, do I have one there? You can put in stuff like warnings. Warning panel. So it standardizes the format of how we do the document and sort of makes it look nice and neat and all that sort of stuff. Didn't save that? Good. Didn't save that. So that's why that's why I want to use Confluence. It's not just a personal preference. I think it will provide us with a means to regularly review, have document control, the versioning, and all that sort of stuff, the approval. So when you write a document up in that, I didn't show you up in the top right, you click the draft and you can submit it to a teammate for a peer review. And then when they submit it, it goes to me, I read the document and then I go publish and then it's green. So we know that it was written by Mitch, peer reviewed by Wilson, approved by Shell. Right, now it's a live document. So it's gone through 3 sets of eyes before it went live. So when to use Freshservice and when to use Confluence? Ideally, what I would like to use the Freshservice solutions for, when a person logs a ticket, we have the ability to link to a potential quick fix. So if you log something and the text recognition goes, oh yeah, that sounds like this. You know when you do stuff and it goes, oh, have you tried this? It could have you tried this? And they go, oh yeah, I can resolve that ticket myself. Anything like that we're doing for the customer goes in there. Anything that we're doing for us goes into Confluence. And that's it. Unless you had any questions or do you have any questions about any of this sort of stuff? I know it's a lot to take in, which is why I recorded it.
My only question is, and again, I've said it for quite a while, but like the automated messages, like the rogue APs, the network change, but I don't know, possibly we do it all the time. I just, I'd be curious just to know the differences between them all and when it's something that I can just close straight away or if it's something that issue higher up the chain.
So if it's a rogue AP, you can skip level 1 and go straight to level 2, just so you know. In fact, most Meraki stuff, I'm not sure how much Shell knows how to resolve. Shell can answer that one. Knows a bit. So with a rogue AP, for instance, I delve into the logs and find out what it is. Is it a phone connected to a PC? Is it what? Yeah, and then I've got a little auto close thing set up because I've got so many of them. Right, cool. I verified that. Dunk. Close it off. We know what that is. But there are instances where we are going to get things and we don't know what they are, and they could potentially be a risk. So we do want all of those sorts of things to go up to level 3. If you guys are interested, I can show you where I check and what I check. and there's nothing to stop. Yeah, nothing to stop you being able to check that sort of thing. I can write up a process for it, etc., etc.
that'd be super.
But your primary focus. So for you guys, the primary focus should just be categorizing these and getting them into the L1 queue, and then working on level 1 tickets. Yeah, and the primary focus for Shell is working on the L1 tickets, and by some miracle, they're all empty. Then jumping into service desk or Monday, Tuesday, obviously triage as well. Because we've only got 3 days of the week covered. That still leaves 2, and one of them's a Monday, which is after the weekend. So, yeah. I'm not saying we don't share info. I'm not saying you can't do anything above your level. I'm just saying the core responsibilities, you need to be looking after your level first, and then, yeah. But we'll always share. Well, I'll always share information to anyone that's interested.
Yeah. I have a question about the assignment thing. So, is it better to leave it unassigned if we can't deal with it like right now?
Yes. Because if you assign it to yourself, say Shell's going through the level 1 tickets and sees a ticket, and we're going to work on it, but they go, oh no, it's assigned to Mitch. That means Wilson. Sorry, that means Wilson's working on it right now, and they'll skip over it and not do it. If you're not actually doing any work on it, don't have it assigned to yourself.
Yep. Let's say it's like a Friday night afternoon, and I'm waiting for I can't work on it anymore, right? Because I won't be here for the next week. Should I unassign it for myself, or?
Yep. And so you unassign it. You would put in a message there to if you wanted, to the customer, if you hadn't been speaking to them, saying I'm not back until next Thursday. So I've just assigned this back to the queue for the team. And then you could send a Teams message saying, hey guys, I got up to here, but I had to stop working on this ticket because I'm out of time. And yeah.
Okay.
But if you left that assigned to yourself, for example, on Friday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Shell, myself and Mitch are going to see it and go, I mean, we'd know you're not working, but, theoretically we'd see it and go, well, Wilson's in the middle of something on that. I don't want to jump in so he gets back on Thursday and goes, oh, I was halfway done with that. Why did you go and ask all these questions and start again? Yeah.
It's a bit tough for me to do 2 days.
Yeah.
Shell, did you have any questions? You're probably the most familiar with this process out of everyone. It's a bit different to what we've had in the past, but not a great deal.
Doesn't seem to be too much different than I'm used to. So I think I'm set.
Cool. I'll give everyone 10 minutes back then. Thank you very much, and I'll share this video in the chat shortly.
Yeah. That'd be great.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Too good, man.
Have a good Arvo.